Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to look at getting out of our design mind and going into a development mode, looking at the Unreal Engine, a tool I've been using for over 20 years. To get the Unreal Engine, it's completely free. Go to unrealengine.com, sign in, create an Epic Games account, and then you can download the launcher. Once you download the launcher, it'll give you the access to their store page where you can buy games, and they give free games away every week. You can see the library of games that you've purchased and downloaded. And you can also go to the Unreal Engine tab, which is going to show you all the things that you have to be able to create content inside of Unreal Engine. There's a news tab that shows you different pieces of information about events coming up, new resources, and new tech. There's a sample page that will demonstrate the ways that Unreal and the people at Epic think that you might want to use the engine, giving you demonstrations of the tools and their capacity. And then you have access to the library, which is going to show your Unreal Engine versions, the projects that you have open, and any of the assets that you've gotten through their fab library, which you can access through here or their website. To get the engine set up, go ahead and click the plus next to engine versions, and then you'll see that there's an option to install, and you can choose which version of the engine to install, starting from the original 4.0 all the way back to 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7. So whatever you have installed isn't going to be in this list, but once you select it, then you can click install, and that'll go through the process of setting that up. Once it's available, then you can launch it. Launching the editor is going to bring you to this Unreal Engine editor launch window, which has the option to create new projects from a number of templates, different types of projects. All of these projects are capable of generating the same outcome. They just have different configurations to help you get started faster on what you're trying to do. And some of them include a few asset kits to give you some resources to start prototyping and designing your work. You can look at the projects that you've already built and load one of those. If you have one in a previous version, you can upgrade it to the current version, and it'll import and modify everything so it'll work perfectly with the new engine. And then you also have access to the same pages, the home page, the news page, and then we have the getting started tutorials, your first hour in Unreal. In addition to the videos you'll see on this channel, there's a bunch of resources online. The Epic Games content is top tier, and you should definitely check it out if you're planning on being serious about learning game development. The sample projects, much like the sample projects listed through the launcher, are available here. And they link you to the forums, the documentation, tutorials, and things like that, the roadmap of future development. Consider that the resources that you see here are mirrored on their website, so you'll have documentation and learning here as well. If you're coming from a different engine, like Unity, consider there are tools and tutorials specifically for getting you onboarded to doing things the Unreal way. In addition to the content that we use to create an engine, there's content to create games that we can use that we don't have to generate all the assets ourselves. We don't have to be an animator and a 3D modeler. There's plenty of content that's being offered to you through resources like the Fab Store. So if I come over to the Fab Store inside of Unreal, by default, you'll see that there's just a myriad of assets and resources that are offered for a reasonable price, as opposed to hiring an artist or a designer or a programmer to be able to generate these things. They offer limited time free assets every week. Every 2 weeks they'll cycle out this content. You can click on it and you'll see that there's an option to get the personal edition, which is free for anyone who makes less than $100,000 per title. And then if you want to expect to make a lot of money, you can get the professional version, but since it's free, it costs you the same. So just make sure you check that box when you go to checkout. Those aren't the only free assets that you can get access to inside of the Fab Store. You can go to Unreal Engine here, and then as you scroll down, there's another set of filters, and if you choose price free, there's a myriad of assets that you can get here, and these are free. They have different licenses. Some of them are professional, some of them are personal, some of them are free and completely royalty free. And as you scroll through, you'll see it'll load more and more. I have another page here that just has a whole bunch loaded, and so you can just see these are soundtracks and animations, plugins, level examples, sample projects, tutorials, asset kits, material packs, whatever it is that you think you might need. They'll have it somewhere in here that you could find something, at least if not to be used in your project, to show you what it's like to create the types of things in the project that you'd like to use. So coming back to the creator area here, we're going to generate our base project off of the new project window, and we're going to choose blank project. This is going to give us the simplest, most remedial version of how to create content inside of Unreal from scratch. So as you follow along the tutorials, I will always start off with a blank project to show you that there's no backend system that you didn't have or that you would need to buy or understand to be able to build the content that we're working through. When you select this project, you get the option to choose Blueprint or C++. Some of the tutorial template projects don't have those options. Some of them are locked to Blueprint if you don't have the C++ for this option. That's just because the content is designed to be run only in one particular way. Now, if you have a project and you want to use Blueprint, this is the visual scripting system inside of Unreal. You can make a full game, networked, multiplayer, cinematic quality, whatever it is that you want, strictly in Blueprints. Absolutely possible, totally viable to ship and market. C++ gives you a little bit more control over the tools and the resources that you have. You can design things to be slightly more efficient, but on the back end, all the Blueprint objects and the C++ objects become the same binary files at the end. So when you ship a game, no one could tell you if it was built in Blueprints or C++. If you build a C++ project, you can use Blueprints. If you build a Blueprint project, there's some steps that you need to take to be able to use C++ with the project. But for our starting point, we're going to use Blueprints. When we target our platform, desktop or mobile, this is just changing some configuration options inside of the Unreal Engine for your project that allow it to optimize its performance and its output for that specific platform. You can create a desktop and mobile platform from the same project, and it does not matter which one of these you choose to start. For the gameplay quality presets, this is about whether or not you're targeting a mobile or desktop. Again, these are just presets that will allow you to get started without having to do much micromanagement of the project settings, but they produce the same result on the back end. You can choose where it is that you're going to be storing your project. The project location, of course, is going to be important for you to be able to reference it later. And your project name can't start off with a number. And then we want to make sure that we're making it into something that we can reasonably reference and get the idea of it when we look at the titles inside of our project viewer, that we're choosing the correct project. So I'm going to go ahead and create this project. I'll see you in the next video when we start to talk about how to get around inside of Unreal. But now that you've created this project, you are ready to start the game development inside Unreal Engine. So hopefully this gets you where you need to go and you get to keep building.